SMTN.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome to Shin Megami Tensei Network Link 320. I'm your host, Spencer Presley, and joining me is our first guest of 2024. It is Misa, finally back. Hello, Misa.
Hi, guys. It's Kitty Misa, your girl, back
Misa,
as the first guest.
you've finally returned. I think at least 17 Koei Tecmo games have released since the last time you were on the podcast.
Yeah,
So,
Koei Tecmo.
how has your holiday / New Year's been treating you?
It's mostly last year. It's busy for the con that happened in December. It's mostly just that. Other than that, I'm just chilling, to be honest. Nothing much.
So yeah, you are our very special guest here today because you snuck into the depths of Sega themselves and stole a copy of Persona 3 Reload. Is that what happened?
No, I didn't steal a copy. I just played the demo. That's all.
You copied it onto a USB flash drive and put it up onto your Discord server. That's what you're telling us.
I wish I could, but I didn't have the time. But yeah.
So, yeah, you were lucky enough to get to actually play it at Comic Fiesta 2023. Was that like Christmas weekend or like week of Christmas?
Yeah, it was like a day before Christmas. Basically, it's like 23, 24, which is on Christmas Eve, which is crazy. Everybody it was packed with people, especially with the mall as well. So there's a lot of people, like tourists and stuff. It was crazy. I only went for one day just for the Sega booth.
See, like, that's the funny thing with like conventions is so many people I know usually just do the like, I'm gonna go one day, do what I need, and then leave. Whereas like every convention I've ever gone to, I'd go for every day. And I'm so used to people being like, what do you like? Don't you get bored after like day 2? And I'm like, I just think about it. I'm like, because like normally when I go to conventions, it's rare for me to not be working at them. So like that's the weird thing where it's like I can't ever think of going to a convention with nothing to do. I would just kind of feel like, what do I do with myself?
Well, I mean, it's understandable, but for my case, well, the COVID cases are kind of rising. It's back a little bit, and conventions are really full of people, so I'm kind of wary of that. I just went for one day. That's it. And the second day, I'm just hanging out at the hotel. That's all.
We need to get that as like a back of the box quote for P3R. Is like, it's so good you might get COVID trying to play it.
Yeah, I risk myself like queuing over there, like a lot of people. I might get COVID, but I didn't, thankfully.
So, for anyone who like either hasn't been or doesn't like know, what would be kind of like the best way to kind of like compare what sort of stuff is all at like Comic Fiesta?
Comic Fiesta and like compared to
like I guess like if there are like other like if there are like other anime like conventions out there in terms of like, is it a pretty fair mixture? Because like in the West I feel like we're really we keep our conventions weirdly segregated in some ways and then others not. Like for most conventions, even if it's like just video games, you'll still have stuff for anime, but not always the other way around. Like if it's an anime convention, it doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna have video game stuff.
Well, okay, here's what I can say about our convention here and on the West, okay? For me, I think like Anime Expo, okay? Like it's really big because you got all the video game company coming down, you got all the English voice actors and stuff and all and everything. It's kind of big. And it's expensive for me. But here, it's mostly more towards anime kind of thing. They invited some Japanese singer, they invited some Japanese voice actor and mangaka or something. Like I think they invited what's his name? The mangaka for Bochi. I don't know if you saw that anime, but the pink color hair go with the guitar. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They invited the mangaka over like last month. Yeah, it's more towards here. It leans more towards anime, a little bit of game stuff, but it's mostly anime really compared to AX.
Now, like, because you had kind of mentioned this before, like you were shocked that Sega and Atlas were going to be there. Like, if
Yes.
would this be a case of like this was the reason you went? Like, would you have not gone otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, if it's for me, I wouldn't have gone if Sega didn't came down. I just went because of Sega and cosplayed because of Sega.
That's true. I always like wonder because like this was a funny thing I noticed, especially a lot at Anime Expo. At the Atlas booth, there were so many like really high level cosplays there that there were people who just thought they worked like they were like booth people for I guess like what's the proper word, like when a company hires you to just be at the booth and cosplay all day, like what would you call that?
Like cosplay. I mean, ambassador wouldn't be the word. It's just like a cosplay for booth, I think.
See, the problem, Misa, is that I'm so accustomed to like in the past, like the forbidden word you're not supposed to use is booth babe. Like in the West, like that was like the common term for people who would just like get a bunch of like sexy dressed like cosplayers, stick them in front of their booth, and then you'd have like booth babes.
Well, my one here is not a cosplayer, but they are cosplayer. It's just that they dress up normally and they're not cosplaying. They're just like, like guests, I guess. They, like talk about quizzes and stuff. And then I'm like, who are they? They're not cosplayers. It's just booth babes, like you said. Like we have one here, like the other day. And they're not cosplay.
I'm trying to think like the closest I have to that was like at the MiHoYo booth, which was ginormous. The like booth babes they had there were practically like hype men because they were just like their whole job was just to draw as many people to the booth as possible for stuff.
Yes,
and it was ridiculous. And I was thinking about it, I was like, man, I would be like so exhausted doing this for like 12 hours a day, just having to stand here and scream at a bunch of weaves at a convention to come to your booth for free primo gyms.
I don't think it's 12 hours, like max maybe 3 hours. Yeah, 3 hours, and then they have the time slot, maybe something like that. Yeah,
that's true. I mean, like, to be fair, there are so many people. It's like I'm sure there are people throwing themselves to be like, oh, woe is me, I have to be at the MiHoYo booth and get paid for it for a living.
Yeah.
So you dressed up as everyone's favorite toaster. Did you go by any of your canon names? Did you just go by Boy with C's logo? What was when people were like, do you go by like P3 here? Like, where are you at in the canon naming of the Persona 3 protagonist?
For me, it's always the OG. I'm sorry, guys. It's gonna be Minato Arisato for me. It's always Minato.
See, like I forget, wasn't there one like before, like wasn't the manga name different, or was that also Minato?
I think it was the manga's name's different. I'm not so sure. It was so long ago, Spencer. Come on.
They're all so weird. I'm just like, I'm sorry, you guys don't just name all of your protagonists Spencer in every one of these games. That's what I've been doing. I don't know what everyone's doing. That's what's always like so funny when I see like on Twitter people have like these like RP like names and stuff, and I'm over here with like the most whitewashed name ever. It's like, so like imagine when I'm playing like Persona, they're like, Presley-kun, what do you think? And I'm just I'm like, it's like, have you ever seen like that like really dumb like I forget who did it, but way back there was a really funny like Persona 4 playthrough where the guy had his name as Jamal, and so all the like God. Really Jamal-kun.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Oh my god, man, Presley-kun.
Yeah, Presley-kun does not get any of the waifus, unfortunately. He is a strict husbando guy only. I'm blaming it all on the men and the naming. Oh, we do have an answer. I forgot about this. It's Arisato. That was the manga name. Arisato, which also doesn't really roll off the tongue as nicely as Minato. Like Minato, I'm very used to.
Arisato is a very unique name, not gonna lie.
I mean, it's better than like Shota. Like when your name is Shota and you're a small character, I'm like, okay, they gave up on you creatively.
Okay.
That's like the boy lazy name I always go for is Shota, and the girl equivalent is like Yuki. If it's like if your name is just Yuki, it's like we just didn't really want to try with your name. That's unfortunately what happened.
Well, I mean, the protagonist's other name is Makoto Yuki. That's like so common, not to
Well,
lie.
yeah, but I mean, like, it could be worse. He could be called Yu Narukami to be a protagonist of you, the player.
It's always the you. I don't know why.
But yeah, so your cosplay, I will either try and like link to it in the show notes, or maybe have it somewhere so people can see. Was this one you had ready, or like how long did it take you to kind of get it all ready for the convention?
Oh, it's ready for me. Like, because I already bought it a long time ago. The only thing I'm missing was the MP3 player. The MP3 player, the evoker. Yeah, the evoker.
Never forget the water gun. The water gun evoker always makes me. I always regret not buying that. I had a chance to buy that like 10 years ago, and now I think they're like really really hard to find. Like the official Atlas evoker water gun.
Wait, when was that?
I think it was around the time of either Fez or like right before
Oh
P3P.
my god.
Because it was like they didn't really launch it with a lot of merchandise. So like there's not a lot of really good official evokers out there. And like that one, because it was a water gun, they could make it look really hyper realistic, which was nice. But yeah, so what did you do for the MP3 player? Like what did you end up getting for it?
So my friend, he the one who cosplaying as Junpei, you can see him in the picture. He has the 3D printer, so he 3D printed out the MP3 player, and it turns out nice. You know, I mean, I wouldn't ask for much. You know, I didn't know where to get another MP3 player because you know that thing doesn't exist here anymore, right? And
that makes me feel so old. You're not wrong, but that makes me feel old.
It is all like you can never find MP3 player unless you go to the Sony store. They have like one, but it doesn't match with the what the protagonists have.
Yeah, that's true. If you showed up with a Walkman, I think you might get laughed out of the cosplay.
Yeah, and then the evoker. So okay, here's the thing about Malaysian anime convention recently, and there was like a huge thing happen, and then they banned all weapons, like guns, even though it's like a replica, it's like fake. Like they banned it. They banned guns. They banned swords. You know, kind of, even though it's just a prop. And my one, I had to keep my evoker in a pouch because you know we can't really show them. Even 3D printed gun is not allowed in the convention because you know 3D printed can be dangerous, right? So yeah, I mean the evoker turned out nice. So, but I just kept it in the pouch most of the time because I don't want to get caught.
You had that thing on you, is what you're saying. You had it strapped and ready at a moment's notice to pull your gat out and do the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of weird because when I posed, you know, doing that, I did the pose when you point the evoker to the head, and everybody was looking at me like I'm sort of like I'm gonna KMS, you know. It was weird, but I kid you not, like people were looking at me, and I like quickly put it in back to my pouch because it was so embarrassing.
I mean, at least you didn't dress up as Yukari. I feel like Yukari is the only one who has like the worst pose for her evoker, just like straight into the forehead.
Oh my god.
I was just thinking about this. You know what's interesting? All of the official character portraits for Reload, none of them show off the evokers.
Like in the battle pose, or
no, yeah, like so, like. Even with like their like new armor and stuff with it, it shows them with their weapons, but it never shows them with the gun to their head.
Oh, yeah,
which is
I kind of noticed that too. Yeah.
It's like obviously they couldn't take it out of the game, or else people would like have had a riot with it. But it is kind of interesting with it. Did you see now? Like, okay, I got the picture of your friend who did the Junpei, which by the way. 10 out of 10 job on the hat. I always love anyone who gets the Junpei hat. Did you see any other Atlas related or kind of Persona adjacent cosplays there while you were at the booth or the convention as a whole?
There was another, like I think there was a few protagonists because I went only for one day. I saw Hamuko, the female protagonist.
Oh, nice.
I saw Kanji. Surprisingly, I saw Kanji. The Kanji said there was a Naoto, but I didn't see her. And then there was Adachi. Surprisingly, and then there was a Shinjiro. I think there was a few around. I think my friend went as Yukari, but I didn't see her. I missed her probably. But yeah, there's like a few I see.
Now,
Mostly cosplaying the protagonist though.
Now you brought up Adachi. I have to ask, do you have any thoughts on the new officially made by Atlas Adachi tie?
It looks kind of. I mean, I love Adachi, but it looks kind of weeb. You know, it screams weeb.
It is so like listen. There's a part of me that's like, I appreciate where they're at in terms of like where they were at in their head basing it. Like, I love the idea though, but like I could never imagine Adachi having a gold like little lapel that says Jester on it as well. Just like, I'm like, it's mostly like, I love Adachi as a character, but also at the end of the day, whenever I see merchandise with him, I do just go like, we are just like making a serial killer merchandise. We all know that, right? We're just having like
exactly.
He is a cool character who is 100% a bad guy.
And then they made a tie for it.
I know. Now, that being said, the desk mat does look cool. I do appreciate the desk mat. But yeah, the $50 tie, I do not think I will be dipping on that anytime soon. Now, were there any other characters you were tempted to want to cosplay as? Like, have you done anyone else from the Persona 3 cast before?
I think it was long time ago. I did Lisa Silverman from Persona 2, but that was really long time ago. My makeup sucks and my wig sucks, but I did her before. But as for the future, I'll just gonna do protagonist for now because he's like the one I like, you know. For others, I'm not so sure.
See, like P3 especially, I feel like it would be hard to kind of pick one because really once you have the uniform, that's kind of the hardest part is you can kind of then really decide who you want to be or like which one you want to do. Well, I'll never forget that one of my like funniest little like memories I have from really early days of starting the podcast, like the first ever convention I did like a live episode at. Someone I saw before my panel, I ran into this couple who was dressed up as battle armor Mitsuru. So not normal Mitsuru, like the super scantily clad battle armor version.
Oh, I mean the battle panties?
Yes, the battle panties. I saw battle panties Mitsuru and also a Shinji with the apron. And I was like, this is the I was like, wow, what a random combination to see together. And it was one of those things of like, I always do this whether I plan on or not, of like when I go to a convention, if you're a really obscure cosplay, I'm always going to make it my job to like go up to you and just personally thank you for cosplaying someone really obscure. Like for the longest time, like that was me with anyone I would ever see cosplaying like Sho Minazuki. Like you would never see people cosplay a Sho.
Oh my gosh, Sho, it'll be so rare to see Sho. Oh, I would want to see him, but it's gonna be really rare because he's one of those obscure character.
Oh, well, especially I feel like in the West, he's the most popular there. Like I feel like I never see anything in terms of like Asia, like really like there. I see some fandom for him, but there's really not a lot.
Back then when P4U came out here, there was a few Sho, maybe one or two. Other than that, I've never seen Sho anymore after that.
The most I ever saw him like get like kind of a resurgence was when that Ultimax manga started coming out in Japan because there's a lot of emphasis on him with it. But even then, it's kind of like harder just because there are so many other characters that kind of steal the show with it. Now, I have to say, were there any people at the convention who thought your cosplay was not from Persona? Like, did you ever have that like, oh my god, are you person from blah blah blah, or did everybody know who you were?
Oh no, they definitely know that I'm the protagonist from Persona because the Sega booth, there's like a big P3R picture on top. Like it was so big. I think everybody can see. Oh, by the way, I think I saw Taya Takami cosplay the other day from
Oh,
Persona
really?
5. Yeah. I saw her walking, but it was too many people. I couldn't get her.
You didn't give her the $5 to step on you or whatever was happening.
No. I saw her wearing those heels and she's walking. She's probably tired. I didn't want to bother her. So yeah. Too bad.
So
Yeah.
if you ever dress up as Minato again, you should just to like really. I'd either like do a really deep cut nerd check or whatever. People should be like, "Oh my god, are you like the protagonist from Persona 3?" And you should be like, no, actually, I'm the protagonist from Mind Zero, the game no one remembers."
This was so old. How did you even get this?
I have a copy of Mind Zero, and I only mostly bought it just because people would be like, "Look at this Persona like wannabe like game," and like it's a whatever RPG. But I will say it definitely does have the most. We're trying to copy Persona without like getting sued by Atlas.
The bootleg Persona.
No. I feel like I don't know what's the better of the two, but obviously clearly knockoff stuff. Like is would you say AliExpress like one or is it like the Temu one? It's like this is like Temu Persona.
True. Yeah. But I don't think people here play Mind Zero though.
No, nobody did. I think five people probably played that game. That was back in the day where like companies would like localize everything that came out like RPG wise, even if like no one was playing it in Japan, which was always like so funny. And then that would always like lead to games being like, well, wait, why did you guys localize all this trash, but then never localize like all these amazing games?
Yeah. It was just back then times,
See, the only times I would ever get like weirdly salty about it would be those times where like a game would come out in Japan on like PlayStation, PC, and Vita, but it would only come out on PC and like skip the PlayStation release like in the worldwide release. Like that one always was like so infuriating.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, it happens for the few games that I like. Back then, it was only released in Japan and it was never translated, which is kind of bummed me.
So we've talked enough about not actually the booth and the game itself. So I gotta ask, I am a big lover of like showmanship and stuff. How either crazy or how much did it live up to your expectations, the Atlas Sega booth?
Okay, so I mean the Sega booth is okay, but here's the story, all right? Strap yourself in, bring a popcorn or whatever.
I'm here.
Okay. So Comic Fiesta day 1, I woke up, I cosplayed Minato or protagonist or Makoto. I went straight away into Sega booth. Okay, I saw a shit tons of people over there, and I was not wearing my mask. I was open, risky, to COVID. So I get there. There was like a acrylic stand for Aegis and the protagonist. Took a picture, and then there was like a quiz happening at that time. Remember I talked about the booth babes, the two. Yeah, there was like 2 girls. I think they were like maybe ambassador or Sega hired them to, to talk and stuff. So there was a quiz, and they were asking questions like, "Oh, what is the C's armband color?" And I said, "Red," and I got in.
Oh my god! I was ready for like a hard question. I was ready for like, what does C stand for? No, what's the color?
Yeah, they were asking that. I'm like, I went in. They were like pushing me. My friend was pushing me in, and I said red, and they're like, "Yay, we got in!" So they need like 5 people for something. I don't know, for like the end game. They asked. What is the protagonist's first persona? And then someone said Thanatos, and then it's wrong. And then my friend said it's Orpheus, which is correct. And then they asked, I don't know what they're asking, like Sonic stuff and Yakuza stuff, I think, because there were Sonic and Yakuza there at the same time. So there was like 4 people, and then there's like endgame. You have to play rock, paper, scissors. If you win, you get a copy of Persona 5 Tactica for PS5. And I'm like, whoa, I'm gonna win this. And then I lost.
I'm so sad. Now you'll never play Persona 5. That was the only way you were ever gonna play it too.
No, it was on PS5. I don't have a PS5, but still, you know, I could like.
No. You would have bought a PlayStation 5 just for that game. I bet you would have gone to the store and dropped $500 right then and there.
No. But yeah, I didn't get it. I lost, and then they say that they have another quiz you can try another time, and then I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Can I say fuck? I'm sorry.
Mason, do you have any idea how many episodes we have with cursing in this? This is the 300 episodes. There's no way I would have avoided cursing.
I'm sorry. So, continue. And then I saw this one line behind the booth. And I asked, what line is this? And then they say, oh, you can try Persona 3 Reload demo if you queue it. And I'm like, okay, I'll queue it. How long does it take to queue? And then he was like, she was like 3 hours. And I'm like, 3 hours for a demo? We'll do it. So I queued for 3 hours for a demo for the sake of myself and any other Persona fans outside there. Yeah.
Well, you had to know. This was your only chance.
Yeah, because look, the demo isn't out publicly except for Malaysia, my country, and Indonesia. They probably played it too because there was a convention there. So yeah, I queued 3 hours for a 10-minute gameplay. I don't know what to do with my life.
Well, I mean, to be fair, just to make it even more evil, it's a 10-minute demo, but there are 2 versions of, like, 2 different demos to pick from, so you don't even get to do both in one demo playthrough.
Yes. Okay, so about the gameplay, the demo itself, it was pretty. Okay. It was worth it. For 3 hours is worth it. And then,
well, yeah, you said you were playing on PCs, right?
I think it should be PC because I think there
was there a mouse cursor just in the middle of the screen the whole time you were playing?
No. I think they had like the fat Xbox controller. I think.
That is pretty much the default PC demo station controller.
Yeah. And then so when I see the menu screen, I noticed there was like a new moon and full moon, right? So the fella, like the dude, the booth guy, he just pressed new moon because it was like the standard demo. So I asked him, what is the full moon? And then he said, oh, it's just the battle with the first boss during full moon, the one in the train.
I forget. Yeah, I was gonna say I always forget her name, but I know it's the one that you do. The first boss you do in the train.
Yeah, the train. Yeah, and then it's just full of cutscenes because that cutscene itself took long enough, and I have 10 minutes. Okay, so I just played the new moon, and I was kind of confused in a way. And then with the Xbox controller, because it was kind of fat, so my hands kind of small. They have dash button now, which is kind of surprising.
So, like, just for reference, when was like the last time you think you played Persona 3, like any version of it?
Oh, I recently started playing P3 again, the Switch version. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, like, kind of comparing the two of those, like, is it been pretty noticeable? Like, obviously, like, it has a faster, like, frame rate and stuff like that. But, like, kind of just running around Tartarus, like, does it feel more than just kind of like a copy paste?
No, it's not a copy paste. They added so much stuff that you can say it's totally different from P3. But there are some things I didn't like, so
lay it on me. I'm ready for it.
Okay, look, I like it when my games is challenging. Remember P3, you had to like analyze and then you wait for a few rounds, then you know what the weakness is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then for this one, you just press L1 and it just appears. It just straight analyze, like it just in front of your face for you, and you're in level 3, like level 3, block 1. It instantly analyzed, and I feel like I was stupid because I was playing with that. I thought I was like I had to wait a few turns, but it turns out it's just right there for you. And then when like a certain shadow was weak to like Agi or something, and then there was like a big ass weak on the shadow, and I'm like, huh? So they kind of like follow Persona 5 style, I guess. I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the not dumbing it down, but oversimplifying of like the ailment system. That is kind of like, it's tough because obviously probably more people are accustomed to the way Persona 5 does it, but I do definitely, like, I will probably find myself missing it telling you after researching it for a round or two. So I wonder, just because we still haven't had them really talk about the difficulty level, and obviously they have it really low for all these public demos, because the last thing they want is people to like wait for 3 hours and then immediately die in a demo. So I would be curious to see like if there is an equivalent of like hard mode, but like without it just being difficult, it's more like plays like the original. Like I would be very curious, because I feel like it wouldn't be that hard for them to even throw aspects of the game back from the original, of like only give yourself party control over one member, and analysis has to actually be done through multiple stuff like that. So I'd be curious to see what they do with it, because I think a lot of the quality of life stuff that they've shown off is nice, but a lot of it is like, okay, but this is going to make it a little bit too easy.
That's what I'm saying. So I really hope that they have like hard or maniac difficulty that removes these weight thingy. You know, it's kind of distracting, kind of. Because I always remember, like back then in P3 or PGP, I remember what the shadow weaknesses are, which is kind of, you know, you got to give yourself a little pat in the back, like, oh, you remember all this, you know, even though you didn't analyze it, which is kind of cool. But now it's just like a big ass weak on the shadow. It's just kind of, oh man. But I do hope they kind of remove that in the hard or maniac mode. Other than that, it runs like 120 FPS, really smooth, and there was no, you know, when you poke with the shadow. Back then, you just poke the shadow or just slash the shadow. Right now, we just lunge in front of the shadow and slash it to enter into battle mode, which is kind of cool. Kind of caught me off guard too, kind of.
Now, for the demo, were you able to hear any of the audio, or was it mostly just like being able to watch it?
Yeah, I can hear the audio. I can hear the it was on English, to be honest. Yeah.
So I'd be curious, because like I feel like one of the biggest kind of points of contention with this remake has been the music. From the bits that you've kind of heard and also got to kind of experience, are you in favor of it? Are you kind of like in the middle? Are you enjoying what you've seen? Because I feel like everyone's pretty much been either I love it or I hate it with the music for this game.
Okay. When I was playing the demo, I could hardly hear the music. Not gonna lie, I was so focused on the gameplay that I don't care about the music. But recently, I heard the short version of the music, and there was like a live stream yesterday for Atlas where Lotus Juice was talking
Marsh's favorite rapper of all time.
But yeah, Lotus Juice, he laid out for some music for PGR, and it was kind of hit and miss, because I vibe towards P3 and PGP the most, because it has some bangers, you know. But right now it's just like mass destruction. You don't have Yumi Kawamura inside it anymore, so it's kind of like, oh man, this doesn't feel right, you know. Like Lotus Juice is fine. It's just that I don't know who's the new singer, but
I 100% agree. Like, my thing is, I don't think they've said why Yumi didn't return, and it's like, it's not like she's no longer doing music, so it's kind of like,
yeah.
I at least hope that they reached out to her and she was like, no, give it to someone else to try for new conditioner. Because like, if you remember when they approached her back in like 2005 or 2006 to like do the music originally, she was like, I cannot do this. This will kill my throat. and then proceeded to do it for a number of years. Like she did, I think the last one of her songs was probably for Persona Q or Persona Q2 probably. And so it was one of those things where she did that for so long. I can imagine her not wanting to, but her voice is so iconic that as soon as you replace it, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, I think the new vocalist is fine, but it definitely does make it lose that kind of original sound that it had.
Yeah. So like what you said, like I'm not saying that the new singer is bad or anything. She's fine, especially for new players. But the old players, like we want our bangers back. So I hope that they include the old songs in DLC or whatever. You know, you get the option to change the BGM for it. I really hope that it happens, but fingers crossed, you know.
Yeah, I'd be kind of curious with it because right now I'm double checking what they have announced. Like I know we have music for Persona 4 and Persona 5 coming in there, but I'd be curious, honestly. Like I think if they sold the original soundtrack, they wouldn't like get completely like split roasted. Like I know Capcom does that for like all the Resident Evil remakes and stuff. Like I kind of understand it. I feel like that would be one of those really easy wins where like on New Game Plus, they just let you unlock the ability to switch.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be nice too, actually. So I was kind of in the, not gonna lie, I like the visuals of Preachy but like the opening. Okay, let's talk about the opening. It released 2 days ago, I think, for me at least. Yeah. Um, when I saw the opening, the visuals is nice. The song, I mean, it's all right. I prefer Burn My Bread. You know.
Hey, at least there was a shout out to the burnt bread. They left it at the end.
Yeah, burn bread. Yeah. Yeah, and then when I saw the opening, I'm sorry, there was a lot of spoilers in there. The part where in the train, where Shinji, Akihiko, and Ken was sitting together, it's such a huge giveaway, you know. And then the last part where Aigis kind of looked damaged, and then there's like 13 Akana, 13 or 12, I forgot. Yeah, around her, which is kind of like, oh my god, it was such a huge spoiler. Why would you put it in there? You know?
See, it's tough because it's like that Mr. Incredible meme. It's like if you don't know, it's not going to look weird to you, but then if you do, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb, you know?
Exactly. That's what I was kind of, you know, in a dilemma. I like the opening. It's kind of interesting, like an anime opening, but it kind of missing that mysterious feel I want, like the OG opening or the P3P opening. They have these words like memento mori and some Latin words here and there. Like they don't have that. It's just characters like lay out for you on the opening, which is kind of okay. Where's my memento mori?
And I think like what's so tough about it, and was like I talked about this a little bit like last week, but like one of the things with it that is hard is this is something that is like every opening, with the exception of Fez, because I mean I don't really count Fez because Fez is more of like an AMV. But like you think of Persona 3 Portable, like those are really, really iconic and really different openings. Whereas this is trying to clearly emulate the first with some of the art choices and the colors and the heavy emphasis on blues and whites. But at the same time, like you said, it's being a lot more obvious about the story moments and stuff without giving anything away directly. So it's kind of tough because like I think overall it definitely gets the job done well. And I mean, like visually it looks fantastic. I think it's probably one of their like best animated openings they've done in a long time. I'll be curious to see like what studio actually animated for it, because like one of the other things I said, it was like, you know, like this was the biggest takeaway when I watched that opening. I was like, wow, only after watching this do I realize how cheap and bad the opening to Tactica was. And I like Tactica, but Tactica has a really bad opening.
True. So yeah, it's not that I hate P3R. I love the visuals and the colors. That's why I pre-order it limited edition. And
you gotta get that red arm sleeve.
Yeah, I want that shit for cosplay, you know.
Dude, literally, I've never been more happy that America does not get that. Like the fact that we get the statue instead of the arm sleeve, I'm like, thank you.
Really?
I'm like, we would never want. Okay, I should say we would never. I would like. Here's what I would do with that arm sleeve. I would do like with every other realistic item that I get from an Atlas Collector's Edition. I go like, oh cool, the sunglasses from Persona 4. Or, oh cool, it's the be like, oh cool, it's real tarot cards. Or oh cool, it's a real evoker. I would say that and then leave it on my shelf to collect dust endlessly.
Yeah, but when I saw the armband, I was like, man, if I get this, I wouldn't have to make my own armband. I just can use this for
that
cosplay.
is true. Because like the way that the new armbands kind of work, like especially with them being armor, like doing a little make your own C's like thing was pretty easy. Get some fabric, sew the lettering on there. That's not that hard. Like the actual armored like armband, like the way they have it, like those are going to be tougher. Like one of the funny things with like, I feel like for the longest time, I don't know if you'd agree, but like I feel like cosplaying as characters from Persona 3 and even Persona 4 to a lesser extent was probably one of the easiest ways to do it, just because it was like get your school outfit, get your wig, and get a weapon, and then you're done. Whereas like now you look at the new battle armor designs, and I think it's really interesting just because like the battle armor gives so much more personality to everyone, like every character.
Yes, I agree so much with that. I'm glad they got new outfits because their old outfits it's just a school uniform, you know? And then Fuka, finally, look, I'm sorry to Fuka fans out there, but I hate Fuka in original P3.
Like, okay. I was so worried you were going to be hating on her new like outfit. I love her little like cape she wears.
Look, the character of Fuka is fine, but back then in P3, she looks like a gremlin. I don't know why. It's just me. And then she's like, oh, the enemy, like, come on. I don't want to hear it, you know?
The Fuka bazooka, I definitely understand.
Yeah, and then she sounds like the back then, and she's kind of hit and miss, okay? And then when I saw Fuka in the new P3R, man, I'm so glad she got that glow up. I'm so glad she got that poncho. I think she was wearing a poncho, right? Yeah. I'm so glad she got that ear, like the headphones and stuff. Like she looks like a navigator, like a true navigator now, which is kind of cool. I like this Fuka. As for the old Fuka, oh man, no. Just no. I'm sorry, Fuka fans.
Now here's the $1 million question. I just put it in Discord. Are we gonna get the sexy battle panties?
For Fuka? For what? She's not even wearing the screen.
Well, no, but I mean in general, like, so one of the things they haven't really shown is actually they actually did show different costumes on Christmas Day, because on Christmas Day the big reveal was you could wear your winter uniforms and stuff. So they have some changeable clothing, but like I wonder if they're gonna copy the kind of lazy nature that P5 had of like save most of the costumes for DLC and only really give one or two choices outside of it. Because like if you remember, like the costumes and armor that Persona 3 and 4 had, like they are wacky. Like the characters look really goofy.
Yes. And you can get them by doing quests from Elizabeth or Theo, which is kind of cool. You can just get them. But you're right about the whole DLC thing. If they did that for P3R, I'm going to riot. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to burn the whole building down. Like, come on, man. Getting
Misa,
armor...
You just made me so sad. I just realized something because of what you said.
Why?
There's no Theo.
I mean, the entire female protagonist thing is just non-existent now. Just, I don't know why. Atlas, please, why are you doing this? Why do you hate Hamako so much?
Now here's the question that they don't want you to ask. We'll start with an easy one. Should they include the dancing in Moonlight costumes? I feel like that's got to be like a given, because those are just like, just come on, just give it to them, and they look really good.
Yeah, I mean, it would be good if they give out the dancing full moon costumes, and it'll be nice, you know. But I'm pretty sure they're gonna be DLC because it's not related to the game somehow. Maybe.
Well, that's true. I mean, honestly, that's the kind of deal like I would pay for it. Like at least if they like included like some of the remixes and stuff. The other one I'd be curious with: here's the controversial one: do we get swimsuits and do we get cross-dressing costumes?
Yeah.
Because there were no
man.
cross-dressing costumes in P5, right?
There was like where Joker wears the police suit.
Well,
like
that
the
was
costume, I
Persona
think.
3 dancing. They did cross-dressing for dancing, but they never did in the actual main game any cross-dressing DLC.
But really, I'm gonna be real. To be honest, I don't care about cross-dressing or costumes or whatever. I want to play the game. Okay,
Oh damn!
that's all. Like costumes,
I've been outed for the real reason I play these games. It's for the plot.
Look, adding on costumes is a great add-on. Like, hey, pretty cool. But really, I just want to enjoy the game. If the costumes gave me high stats, like give me like boost stats or whatever, yeah, then I'll be happy. If the costume is just for looking pretty, yeah, then fuck it, I don't want it.
Ooh, here's a question. I'm not sure if you were able to see it. Were there any switchable, like in the demo you played? Were there any changeable equipment? Like, were you able to switch your sword, and actually did it look any different?
No, I can't switch my sword. As far as I know.
Because, like, do you remember in Persona 3, like, you could have, like, the bow, the axe, the sword.
Yeah, the OG,
like,
yeah.
Like, I don't think you're allowed to do multi-switching, but at the very least, I would kind of hope they at least still keep the different types of weapons, especially since it's just swords this time.
As far as I know, because I only got like item, which is the boots, the shoes. I can equip the shoes I got in Tartarus, but I'm not sure about a sword because I don't think you can change it into a bow or anything. But I didn't have time to take a look because I have 10 minutes, and the guy's being an asshole about it.
He's like, "Come on, get out of here already."
I was in the middle of boss fight with the guardian, the Tartarus guardian, the Venus Eagle. Mm-hmm. I was in the middle of it. And then the guy was like, "Hey man, your 10 minutes is up."
Boo.
And I'm like, yeah, I was like, "Can I at least like finish it?" They were dying, they were halfway dying because I keep using what's his name, Agi. Somehow they're weak to Agi and they use Bufu, Bufu at that. Because I remember like Venus Eagle, they used Garu, not Bufu.
If my replay of Persona 3 Portable taught me anything, is that whatever you think the ailment would be, it's the opposite. It's never what you think it should be.
Yeah, and because I was like, oh man, Venus Eagle, I'm gonna use Zio or something. I don't remember, or use Yukari to he was weak to Yukari because she's using the bow. And then it turns out he's weak to Agi, and I'm like, wait, why isn't he using Mabufu in the 5th level? How? And then my friend said it could be just a demo thing, and I'm like, I hope it is because
You're like, let me tell you why this is breaking my lore. You're breaking my internal lore right now.
How?
So you'd mentioned that it was also in English dub for it by default. Have you had any are you excited about the new voice cast? Are you planning on playing it in Japanese? Where are you at with the new voice cast?
Listen, Japanese voice actors are cool and all, but I'm gonna stick to English. I'm gonna support Alex Lee, the one and only.
You just like him for his minion pictures.
What? No, I like him a long time ago. Okay, I was a big fan of his. Alex Lee, if you're listening to this, hit me up.
Misa, what are you gonna do when I tell you that Alex Lee is the next guest for the next episode of the podcast?
No way, you wouldn't. No.
Be like Misa, I knew you really wanted to be on a podcast with Alex, so I had you on the week before without him. So just so I could make sure you didn't have a chance to say hi to him.
No, just say hi to him for me, okay? But don't embarrass me in front of him. Don't do it like the back then when you did with Koshimizu.
Yeah, there was some chick mouth breathing over here about you. Just thought I'd hear some audio. She was talking about you real quick.
Wait, what?
No, nothing. So yeah, I'm glad you're excited about it. I will say, from where we went with the reveal to now, I'm definitely a lot more bullish on the cast as a whole. Like, I was excited about the new voices just in general because, oh, hey, it's new. But there are some really big shoes to fill. Like, especially like you mentioned with Alex of like, man, when I think of the protagonist from P3, I think of Yuri Lowenthal. Like when I think of like characters, I think of like Tara and all the other like actors and stuff with it. So I think they're doing a good job of like hitting those similar notes without making it just kind of seem like they're just mimicking it. Because at the same time, I kind of agree with you. No disrespect at all to the Japanese cast with it, but the fact that it's just the same characters, like the same actors being voiced by these people we've heard for like almost over 2 decades now, it's kind of like I'm more interested to hear something like new, kind of like similar with the Final Fantasy VII remake situation, where in Japan it's all of the original actors, whereas they got completely recast over here. Plus, like, I know not everyone kind of got an offer or an extension here with it, but I do like little touches, like Yuri Lowenthal still being the narrator for some aspects of the world of Persona 3, and like the voice actor for Elizabeth still being the same and things like that. Like, I think little fun touches like that go a long way with it. And even just the fact of like, I'm always a fan of learning about new voice actors when they are in games that I'm excited for, because like as much as I always love having like my favorite voice actor like be in anything or everything, I always enjoy like finding new faces or new actors and stuff like that.
Yeah. This is why I like English voice actors. Some of my friends, they're a huge fan of Japanese voice actor, and they will always say English sucks, and I'm like, come on, man, give them some credit. Okay, it improved ever since back then. But yeah, I'm all for it for the new cast. They sound really good, not gonna lie.
Now, the biggest question we've probably got for the whole episode, Misa, are you gonna be buying this game day one?
Look, I pre-order it. I told you, I pre-ordered it, limited edition.
It better be on PS5 version. That's all I'm saying.
No, it's on PS4.
Actually, yeah.
Expensive.
How do you feel about it being? Because it's $70 for us over here. What's the price for you where you are?
For the limited edition, it's like 400 something bucks here in my currency. I'm not sure how much is it there though.
Let's do the conversion. I forget what's your currency called again?
NY. I'm gonna do it. 400. Okay, so it's like $85 for the
what?
For the limited edition.
What, dude? Do you know how much it is for us?
How much?
200.
Wait, for the limited edition?
Yes, it's $199.
No way.
Yes,
No.
it's $199.
Wait, the limited edition with the statue or with the?
Yeah, with the statue. It is $199.
Okay, here it's $85.
Man, yeah. I knew the economy was in rough shape. I just wasn't ready for how rough of shape it really was. So, I mean, Misa, like, I don't know if you know this, but I have not been the same for a while because first Persona 5 Tactica failed me, and now Persona 3 Reload has also failed me. You know what they did?
What?
There is not a single goddamn steelbook in any country for either of these games.
Now you're talking about it. But wait, isn't Tactica on Switch only?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Oh, no. Tactica's on everything. Xbox, PlayStation,
PC.
Really? Yeah.
I thought it was on Switch only. I'm a dumbass. But there's no steelbook.
No, nowhere. Literally nowhere for it. Which I think, like, for Tactica, I kind of understand. Like, there wasn't even a special edition for Tactica. Whereas, like, I feel like Persona 3, especially for $200, you could have thrown in a steelbook.
Wait, let me check mine. I'm not sure if I have it.
Yours does not. I've checked, like, because I was even like, you know me, I'm an insane person. I'll import a steelbook from Asia or Japan, Korea, wherever I gotta go.
Wait, there is a steel case. Oh wait, that's
So
a
this-
custom steel case. Fuck it.
yes.
Okay.
Every time I
Okay.
look it up, yeah, I'm like, oh, that looks pretty good. Oh, it's a custom one. Yeah, so
Man.
I know. But I'm still excited for the game as well. It does not feel real that like literally it's like as we're recording this like 28 days away. That is insane.
Okay. I'm just gonna say that look, if you're new to P3, this is the game for you. And for the old time players, you can just, adapt to it. It's nothing major, but I'm gonna tell you that the game is pretty. It's super pretty. The visual is amazing. The music is alright. The cast is good. So just get it. You won't regret
Now, like you weren't always in love with like how SMT5 looked, which was also on Unreal Engine 4. So I was kind of curious, how do you kind of feel like this compares? Because they're both made in Unreal Engine 4. Like, how would you kind of compare looks wise? Obviously, one is something made for like current and next gen, and the other is running on a toaster called the Nintendo Switch. But like at least aesthetically wise, like how do you kind of feel like Atlas has done with the like new graphic like presentation coming from SMT5?
Okay, for SMT5, the graphics is pretty. The visuals, but the characters are nice. The only thing is lacking, what I hate about SMT5 is just the story and how they level lock you kind of in a way. It's just bad. For PGR, I know the story, and I don't know if they're going to change it, because, remake, they're going to change something,
Oh my,
yeah.
dude, like that's my biggest thing. Like, I'm not scared about with Reload, but like, I just have I don't know if it's because of Final Fantasy VII or whatever, but like something in my gut tells me they're gonna do something weird with this game that no one knows about.
Yes. I was saying because when it comes to remake, it's either gonna be really faithful to the original game, or it's just they kind of change it a little bit, or it's just major change like FF7 Rebirth. I recently asked my friends to play the original Persona 3, the OG and the PGP before playing the Reload because this is what I'm afraid of. Because I said, look, some things, if you play PGR first, right, you can never go back to the old games. That's a fact. Because you know why? Because they say it's hard. They can't adapt to it. That's what, P5 and PGR players are gonna say. And sometimes they're gonna miss out a lot of stuff that the remake doesn't have and the OG have. Get it? So yeah,
No, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. There are some things you're gonna miss out in the remake that they don't put in. That's why I keep telling my friends to play the OG first before experiencing the remake.
It was so much easier back when it was on Game Pass, but unfortunately they took it off Game Pass right before the remake.
Yeah, why would you do that? I don't understand.
To my knowledge, the license for it basically once Microsoft pays for your game to be on Game Pass, it's every standard deal is for 12 months. And then once that 12 months is up, they can kind of decide from there whether they want to continue both from Atlas's side or from Microsoft's side. My guess is it probably didn't get a ton of play because I feel like when P5 came to Game Pass, you saw a lot of people playing it on PC, Xbox, and Switch and talking about it. Whereas like especially because these are digital only releases, a lot of people were kind of like, I'll get to it later.
I mean, you could be right as well.
Well, and also, to be fair, I bet a lot of it is they want to avoid confusion because remember, this is also launching on Game Pass. So I bet a lot of people are like,
true.
would be like, well, what do I play? Do I play Reload or do I play Portable?
True. Oh, well, my friend is speed running right now because he said that Portable is going to be removed from Game Pass. And I'm like, you have the game on Vita. And then he was like, but I wanted everything in HD for, PGP remaster. Everything is HD. And I'm like, bro, just play on Vita.
Misa, I feel like you would appreciate this. So I got that like physical PS4 version for P3P in recently, and the entire manual is literally just a 1-for-1 rip of the PSP manual. Like even the screenshots. The screenshots are literally the PSP screenshots from 2009.
How lazy. But
Well,
you know,
I on one hand, yes, that is lazy, but on the other hand, like I kind of think that's cool, just in that sense of like I miss that era of Atlas doing so it's kind of like it's that nostalgia play. But
mhm.
one last thing I did want to throw out there with it, just because we're talking about like physical versions. I know there are some out there, like in like I know some like countries, especially like in Asia, have different ones for P3R, like depending on where you buy it. Do you know if you're like where you
Mm.
pre-ordered it comes with anything different or no?
I don't think so. They're following truth to what they display it so far. The only thing I'm kind of concerned about. Wait, I don't think we have this.
No, this is actually only in the West. Like, that's why I wanted to pull it up with it. So this got announced December. I think it's like a 5 or 6 inch tall acrylic stand of Makoto, and I was like, man, I actually think that looks pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's only at GameStop, which means like Canada doesn't get it, Europe doesn't get it, obviously the
Oh
rest of the world for it.
no!
My hope is I'm going to try and get a couple extras so I can give them out to the fine people trapped in the other places in the world and stuff with it. But I wanted to kind of change because I feel like you would appreciate like this is the other dumb thing with it. I like the acrylic stand. I also actually like that it comes with a branded box.
Man. Oh man, this sucks. This is what you get for living outside of West. You guys get the good stuff, okay?
No, this is what we get. This is why our collector's edition literally costs over 2 times as much as yours.
Yeah, but it's you guys got the stuff. You know, we can barely get the collector's item here because it's either expensive or it's just really rare. But yeah,
Oh yeah, I feel like the like shipping and manufacturing for Atlas stuff must have either changed or gotten a lot tighter because like Europe, they had one wave. Europe and Australia had like one wave of collector's editions go up for P3R, and has never been gone up for pre-orders again. Like apparently they had really underestimated how many people wanted it, which is weird because in the West, like the pre-orders are still up for this thing.
man. But still, you guys are lucky. I envy the West because Atlas love you guys in the West. About SCA, Southeast Asia, you can just forget about it, okay? Well, they did a P5. They did a P5 cafe recently at Philippines, but that's it.
I wanted to go to that so bad.
You guys have a P5 cafe in the West, didn't it? Like
we had like cafe like crossovers, but they're always in California. I'm in the middle of the country.
I mean, if you want it, why not go, right?
I mean, yeah, they got me with AX, so I can't complain anymore with it. I do have to say it is actually kind of funny thinking about it from Anime Expo. That was like the first convention that they brought P3R to, and now like kind of like looking at yours, like Fiesta was like probably one of the last ones before release and stuff. So it's kind of crazy to think about like the fact that this game wasn't even official more than like 7 months ago.
Exactly. I was kind of surprised that they bought a P3R demo here rather than in the West, because it's usually in the West. So that's why I have to go Comic Fiesta just to experience P3R just for it, because it's like a one time only thing. That's what we said. I don't know if this year.
What you're telling me is I need to fly down and cover Comic Fiesta 2024 next year. No, not this year. We're living in 2024.
I mean, if they're gonna come down again this year.
See, this is what's gonna happen, Misa. They're gonna delay Metaphor into early 2025. They're gonna have a demo of it there, and you're gonna be like, Spencer, plane tickets are pretty cheap. You should come on down.
Yeah, you can come down now.
And I was like, it's a good point. And I also enjoy getting my media badge, so I don't actually have to pay the con attendance fee, which is always a nice plus.
Exactly. Look, if you want to come down here, just hit me up. All right. Okay. Marsh came down here before.
What?
Yeah, Marsh came down here before. It was a long time ago, I think.
What a sneaky sneak. He's an awful Midwesterner. He forgets the fact that when you're in the Midwest, you're supposed to just be stuck there forever. You're not supposed to be a world-traveled man.
Look, I didn't know until he told me, like, until he asked me something, like something Malaysia, and I'm like, wait, you're in Malaysia?
Hey, I'm just imagining he's at like a Jollibee and sends you a picture, and he's like, "What should I get?" But like none of it's in English.
He just texts me out of nowhere, "Hey, what's good in Malaysia?" This and that, and I'm like, "Boy, are you in Malaysia right now?" He's like, "Yeah," and you didn't tell me the vote, and I went out with him the next day.
Just think, and that's how Marsh got his mail order bride. He went down, got him in Malaysia, brought him back to America, and he's never been the same since.
Oh my god, it was shocking. But yeah, PTR, good game. Just buy it. Or get it on Game Pass.
Do both. Buy a copy, never open the box, and then play it on Game Pass.
True.
Wait, all right. Well, Misa, thank you so much for coming on and doing the show. As always, I always appreciate getting to talk with you. Where can people find you and follow you and stuff online?
Oh, you can follow me on Twitter. I have 2 accounts. One is the cosplay account. I think it's your waifu Misa, kind of cringe, but. And then there's a art account, which is Meow Art. You can find the link down below or something. There's a Tumblr and stuff. You can check out my art, mostly Persona, SMTN, my OC stuff there. Okay, thank you.
You're like rushing through it so fast, as if there's someone else who's gonna have to go through and do it after you.
Like, I'm nervous. Okay.
It's okay. Yeah, so all of our links and where to find everybody, like Facebook, Discord, Twitter, X, YouTube, all that fun stuff. The big one, just to remember, is if you enjoy the show and want to help keep it going, you can go to patreon.com and listen to the show early. Like episodes like today, this one's going to go up like a whole week before to people on Patreon. So if you donate as little as $1, you get stuff like that early, giveaways. Maybe I'll chuck an acrylic stand at someone's face or just mail them all directly to Misa for her to put on eBay. So you can check out
having me.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. So you can check out patreon.com/SMTN to support it. And also big shout out to all the $5 and up executive producers. So thank you, Budweiser, Tall Cans, Cameron Sharp, Carlos Hernandez, Contraband, Cross Renren, Demi Crow, Dozy Bear, Dr. Luma, Jazzy Jefferson, K Horse, Patrick Dissart, and Mirth Mouser. Thank you all so much for being super awesome. And yeah, we will see you next week for the 19-hour-long Alex Lee episode interview.
I love Alex Lee! Okay, bye.
Goodbye, everybody.